Hello, my dear friends. Best greetings from Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Victor Fursov. I'm a research entomologist. I'm working at the Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences in Kiev, Ukraine. And today we are just opening this new series of stream video chats between me and just audience, and I will be showing different insects on my original video, which I recorded during different time in the laboratory, so under the microscope in my laboratory, at home laboratory. And this is about insects, actually, because insects were all around us in laboratory or at house, in orchard, in greenhouse, in around your courtyard. And as you just in autumn time, like we are here in Ukraine, pretty cold now, +5 outside of my apartment, and warm, fortunately, inside my apartment. I don't have just a meter to say what is about degree, but today we are talking about different insects which are inhabited our houses or just maybe courtyards and can come to you as a pest and can be irritating, can be dangerous pests or just unpleasant visitors of different food stocks. And by the way, anytime you can send me any message with questions about insects. So I can use my just simple letter to answer you. For instance, Ukrainian post office still working, so I can send you just email, or I can send you just letter like that. So with a beautiful Ukrainian stamps. So that's why whatever you are, just in a different places of the world, so I can send you just the private letter if you have private question. Or you can contact me and ask question about insects on my private email. So you fancy gmail.com. So your private question will come to my private email, so we can discuss any questions about insects in your house. And by the way, if you want to be sponsor or donator of which when you can support my channel with video about insects and about entomology, about science in Ukraine and worldwide. So you can drop some donations from your smartphone on this page Patreon, which will resend it to me safely, and this is very safe way to transfer money and support science in Ukraine. So welcome to visit description under this video. You can see a direct link if you want to use this link, or you can find my Patreon page, Dr. Victor Fursov, Entomologist, Beekeeper Teacher, on this page, Patreon, which is really quite supportive and motivational, because we are in capitalist time and just your drop for $1 for a cup of coffee will be very pleasant, supportive, and motivational. Or if it will be more, it will be motivational, of course, for sure. So let's start from the beginning about insects. Which insects I would like to show you the first? Okay, the commonest insect I can show you. Welcome this one. Come on, guys. Let's start add to the stream these interesting insects. So these insects just crawling around, just very unpleasant, very not so dangerous, by the way, but they're irritating you. Of course, they're much less pleasant than just your home pet like this one. So you have home pet like this one. This one is very pleasant. But around your house, you can find some different small insects like these beetles. And what are these beetles? Who are they? They're usually very small, so comparable with this video. So on screen about beetles will be about 2 millimeters size, crawling very fast, sometimes flying around, can be crawling on walls, on windows. So they're really irritating you, either you're just a woman, housewife, or man. Different people are irritated by these insects. And who are them? The most common species belonging to the family Anobiidae. Anobiidae or furniture or some other beetles. So some beetles develop really in furniture, but majority cases, if you don't have just antique furniture in your house, some of these beetles they can hatch from different food stock. These are commonest two species. One is Biscuit Beetle or drugstore beetle and tobacco beetle. In Latin name, these are Stegobiumpaniceum and another name tobacco beetle, Lazioderma sericorne. So this is a Latin name. They're really very small. For instance, Biscuit Beetle is just only 2 or 4 millimeters size. Quite a small, brown color. However, they like different features to check because they're very small, so only entomologists can identify them properly. Because they are small, sometimes can be in large amounts, like here in this jar. So I collected them just from the laboratory culture, just a little bit bigger magnification, so you can understand their shape. This biscuit beetle is found throughout the world and is known also in North America as a drugstore beetle. It is a really amazingly adaptable creature, feeding on every conceivable type of vegetable or animal products, especially on dry products, including hottest spices, also just packed spices. It can be serious pest over preserved plants, for instance in herbariums, and it was discovered even in some ornamental flowers imported from one country to another. Or usually they just come into your house with different food stock, either from a supermarket, or these beetles can easily come flying from the street, from natural habitats around. Biscuit beetle, for instance, Stegobiumpaniceum, or drugstore beetle the same, is one of the commonest and most economically important pests, which attacks stored products in association with humans. It's known very long time, even from 2500 BC in Egypt, found with mummies. The diet of this beetle includes cereals, beverage concentrates, herbs, animal food stocks, coca beans, spices, even like the chili peppers, and even different drugs, like especially herb drugs. That's why we have a name drugstore beetle. On this video you can see also very tiny small wasps between beetles. This is a natural parasitoid, natural entomophagous insect from the family Pteromalidae, so which is controlling the number of these dangerous pests naturally, but cannot regulate very quickly because the ability to multiply the progeny and the generation in drugstore beetle is enormous. The adults of these beetles fly very easily. During infestations, beetles are very often can be firstly noted as crawling on windows. Then also specimens of these beetles can be carried from buildings to buildings and from or from supermarket to your house, or even on some of your clothes very easily. Actually, these beetles, adults, they do not feed, so they do not eat any food, your stock. But nevertheless, they can eat this way. They're trying to escape to hatch way through the packaging, if it is the package, during package in order to lay the eggs inside food resource or just to infest contained products. That's why they're making special holes as the emergence holes or entrance holes. Single adult of these beetles female can lay about 100 eggs, giving a so large, huge progeny, either in the food itself or in the crevices near the food nearby. When they newly hatched, the white larvae about 0.5 millimeter long and about 0.2 millimeters wide, very small, and as a result, they can squeeze actually everywhere through the narrowest cracks of food and penetrate cracks or penetrate the wrapping of food with a relative ease. With their long legs and keen sense of smell, these larvae are very agile and can well equipped to search for food. Furthermore, they can survive during the week without any nourishment. The temperature of 22 Celsius degree life cycle takes about 2 or 3 months. In heated buildings, adults of these beetles can occur in any time of the year. As well as attacking foodstuff, this species can cause structural or another damage, especially as the last larval stage of this beetle, creating special hollowed protective chamber in which they are pupating. And that's why material where they're just living becoming damaged which includes cardboard, sometimes it can be books, wood, or even some sheet lead. So that's why they're dangerous pests of different food stock and surrounded packaging materials. What about another beetles which can be found in your house or inside your food stock? Well, next one will be not so common, but nevertheless very dangerous. Let's show you this next one. Next one is infesting different grain and cereals. Well, this is still Biscuit Beetle, and this is another beetle. These are grain weevils, family Weevils, Curculionidae, and genus Sitophilus, species Sitophiluszeamais. The adults of these beetles are very small, from 2.5 millimeters up to 5 millimeters long, and they are from brown to dark brown, or even just a black. They're very noticeable because when infesting pale colored food, especially such as rice or maize or just corn, their snout is long and the embalded antennae and in distinct clubs. There are actually 3 species, very close species: the grain weevil, Sitophilus granarius, which cannot fly because the wings are very reduced. Another 2 species, actually very difficult to distinguish, they are called Maize weevil or Horator rice weevil, Latin name Sitophiluszeamais, and the lesser rice weevil, or Latin Sitophilus oryzae. These are 2 species, both winged and capable to fly, and they have 2 reddish spots on each wing case. Especially as the name of this species suggests, a very common pest of a stored grain. Actually, the female of this weevil is laying the egg inside hole, which is gnawed in a grain by the chewing of mandibles, by mandibles. During the lifetime of a female of several months, female can produce as many as about 300 eggs. Actually, the whitish and legless larva of grub has a very visible brown head. And the larvae of these beetles, larvae, were wholly living inside the grain, which is eventually becoming hollowed out, leaving an empty husk. This species can cause losses of huge stores of food and food stocks. And actually, this species can attack hard starch containing products, including dry biscuit, even pasta. In houses, infestations may arise from packet, even of bird seeds. So you can bring it from a supermarket, and very occasionally they can fly inside the house. In majority, you can bring it with different infested food inside your home or inside your house or field yard. I can show you next one. Sometimes the number of these specimens can increase very rapidly, very quickly. So huge crowd of these beetles can appear in a food stock. Sitophilus. So you see all these beetles appeared as a huge infestation of packaged food stock, packaged grains. So of course I selected them all together, but you see they like to be together, crawling all together. They're not spreading around, but they're just communicating together and making huge crowd of thousands of specimens, females and males. Rain weevil Sitophilus Oryzae has eaten mice and wheat in granaries, and its commonest activity can cause grain to heat. So the grain can be heated because of such a huge number of adults, because of breathing and just extraction of moisture and different just products of physiological activities. Small number of these beetles can be introduced into warehouses on rice or grain, but the species is also unable to survive in unheated buildings. So if your buildings or food stock is unheated, so usually these beetles will be dying for a short time. So that's why easiest way to kill them, just to reduce temperature of a food stock at least up to the +5 degrees, or just put packaged food with grains or different other food materials inside freezer, so that all larvae and all adults of these beetles cannot survive just under the temperature -20, so they can die easily and very quickly during 1 week. Even not only 1 week, even during 1 day. So that's why you see heated rain can be dangerous even just because of huge moisture, and also all these materials, all these grains of food stock, which is heated, which is becoming wet, also can be source for mold infestation. Different fungi will be infesting this infested by beetles food stock. So, and mold will be growing incredibly all around the food, all around this food stock. What about next? Beetles, which can be living inside your food house or which are unnecessary, which are unpleasant and unnecessarily neighbors of your house. Let's see who are them. And this will be family Silvanidae, or another type of a grain beetles. Why grain beetles and what is the difference of their structure? Well, these are grain beetles belonging to family Silvanidae, and they have a very special shape of body. Let's show you these beetles. These beetles belonging to family Silvanidae with two important species, Orizophilus mercator and saw-toothed grain beetle Orizophilus Surinamiensis. This is species named Orizophilus Surinamiensis. Adults of these beetles very small, 2.5, 3.5 millimeters size. They are black or dark brown, as you can see on this video. Actually, characteristically, they have a series of serrations or tooth-like protuberances on each side of the thorax. Of course, it is visible only under the microscope because they are so small. Even increasing their magnification, you see they are very small indeed. The female of this beetle can lay up to 170 eggs, which are laid in crevices or nearby the food material. The larvae are yellowish with brown flecks and a brown head, and they're reaching about 3 millimeters size, and the excrements can be found in a food source. This species is very common in both temperate and warm areas of the world. These pests are known to survive in different, even in the winters, even in unheated buildings. So they're very strong with ability to survive in a cold temperature. There are serious pests of the stock products of vegetable origin, which includes cereals such as rice, wheat, barley, and maize. All their products, food products, as a bread, dry bread, and pasta. Infestation of dried fruits also possible. This can be currants, raisins, or sultanas. Yes, really. Even this food stock can be infested. These infestations are very common. Even some herbs, drugs also can be attacked by the larvae and adults of these beetles. Their small size and flattened body, dorsoventrally, enables them to hide even in crevices inaccessible to spray and fumigants. So that's why they can survive even after spraying, after fumigation. If the products can left unchecked, this dangerous species can spread throughout grocery store and can cause serious damage. Even in common houses, specimens can be brought indoors with contaminant of purchased foods from supermarket or from a market, with grains or some other products, as I said, even with dry bread, pasta, or even with infested raisins, dry raisins, for sure. These species are serious pests also of farm storage grains, which can become also with time wet and then becoming moldy and sprout. In some cases, these beetles cause the problems even in intervention stores, because this species can infest rice and other foods, even in some kitchens, even some storage areas, in public places or in ordinary houses. So we must be very careful about these beetles. And if you have just some suggestions or doubts about infestation of your food stocks, easiest way to put your stock inside freezer of your refrigerator under the 20 Celsius degree to eliminate the development of a larvae and adults of any beetles, any insects which can cause damage of your food stock. And you can repeat it 2 times. So after 2 times, all beetles larvae can be eliminated and can be dying in such a food stock, especially in packages with a dry bread, pasta, some rice, wheat, barley, maize, and so on. If it is, of course, small amounts, and can be stored inside freezer with a temperature -20. So, because if it is a huge amount of a different food stock, it's necessary to use sprays and fumigation. What about the next beetles? Next beetle, I can show you the pleasant beetle. This pleasant beetle, so you can keep and collect inside your house in terrarium and aquarium. And these are Rhinoceros beetle. Rhinoceros beetle, of course you can buy it through internet. You can find just different insects shops which can sell larvae of these different species of rhinoceros beetles. And this is a very good, very good pet for observations, because to keep and take care for small pet like this, it is difficult. Like this pet, it is difficult. It is a huge responsibility to take care about very small pet, which is actually very warm, and very clever, by the way, very clever, despite the tongue is open here, because this dog is not very young. So sorry about it. Close your mouth. Very huge responsibility to take care about your pet. But you can keep just a small pet as a beetle. For instance, Rhinoceros beetle. So you see how it can be kept. I show you. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, for instance, this beetle just hatched, emerged inside this jar. Okay, this was a very special food stock for him. Just a dried wood. So the larva was eating dry wood and just some pieces of wood inside the cage. And after about 3-4 months, larva pupated. And after pupation, after 1 month and development of 1 month, this is the second stage of a metamorphosis, changing physiological changes. Appeared this very lovely Rhino-beetle, or Rhinoceros beetle. Yes, quite a big one, about 3 centimeters size, brown colored, very nicely shining beetle with a huge horn on a head, with lovely 2 pairs, with 1 pair, 1 and 2 eyes, lovely antennae on the, and very special legs. You see, very special legs. And hello to everybody who is watching us. Hello to best greetings to France. And this pet was I kept just in a very small cage with food for the larva. The cage was about size for pasta, okay, about half of liter. So it after development, the larva pupated, then just emerged this lovely beetle, about 3-4 centimeters size. And here I'm delighted to show the situation that this beetle actually has no mandibles, has very much reduced mandibles, so cannot cut plastic, cannot cut wood, with the mandibles on the head. So because they are so much reduced. But this beetle has a very special 4 legs, like a saw legs, because the previous species was named Saw-thoothed. Beetles, very tiny one, because they have a special, like a horns on the thorax, but these legs of these beetles, like a 2 sides saw, and this beetle can be hatching through different boxes, through different places, escaping either from the ground or just even from the molted wood, for instance, with a very hard cork. So you see here this leg with the horns like a saw, and this beetle was kept here just in a plastic jar, and this beetle was so tough to escape and was trying to escape. And you see on the upper side of this picture just small pieces of plastic and a huge and very huge hole. Who did this hole? This beetle did this hole because he was trying to escape and use the legs like that. Yes, and he was standing on the ground, on the hind legs, on the last pair of hands, and the 4 legs used just to open the place, and it was making so by these legs and making a triangle hole. And finally he did a huge hole like this inside plastic, not inside metal for sure, metal is too hard, but inside plastic. And finally he did this job several days, and it was quite noisy in evening time because beetle was making noise. I noticed it, but he was trying to, you see, he cutted all this plastic and made a huge hole to escape. That's why you must be careful keeping the beetle inside thin plastic jars, because beetle has a very special ability. The beetle, female or male, will be trying to escape as soon as possible and making it as hard as possible. Even if you close it with a plastic lid, you see, adult can go through this plastic lid, can make a hole inside plastic lid or inside the side of a jar. How he did it? Let's see the final minutes of this video. I will just you see, beetle was coming through the hole. Actually, beetle was shocked here by the huge bright light, but nevertheless, beetle, you see, came out of a jar, used his small legs, and finally fell down on my table from this jar happily. Yes, keeping just and falling. You see the hole inside plastic jar with all this wood and huge hole, and beetle is falling down. So escaped finally and happily. But nevertheless, he did it under my control. So that's why he didn't escape. He didn't came to under the sofa or somewhere in the kitchen. So, and escaped. So this is a story about beetle. This is a story about different beetles. So today I try to show you different funny and interesting beetles which can come to your laboratory, you can come to your food stock occasionally, and they're just not pleasant neighbors like these beetles, like these rice weevils. But nevertheless, you can keep very tiny, very nice pet with you, especially even it is a small beetle like a rain weevil. So they can be also the pet under your control, because you can make experiments. You can make just study for your school, for your college, or for your university, for instance, the application of different herbs or different solutions against these weevils, how to control them, or develop special biological control methods against these dangerous, not this dangerous pests. And this is not dangerous. This is a good one. This is a very good one pest, not a pest. This is a very good pet. This is a pet, and this is how to show you. This is a pest. So thank you for coming, and don't forget that I have my email. If you have some questions, welcome to ask your questions using this my private email. Or if you want to support our channel through Patreon page, you can visit my Patreon page, which is indicated under this video, and it will be very nice and good contribution for development of my channel and motivation, because this will be very much personal, private, motivational effort from you, and this is very motivational because I see real feedback from my followers, from people who is watching me, who liked me, and thank you very much for your support, because I already have some sponsors, some Patreon patrons, and I really appreciate their efforts and their attention to my channel and their interest in biology and entomology. If you have private questions, welcome to this email too. Thank you for coming. Looking forward to see you on my channel again. And don't forget to subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Bye bye. See you soon on my channel. Subscribe and visit Patreon page. Good luck. See you soon.